arm. Right, face. Forward, march.
Our invocation today is from Pastor James R. Cooper, Sr. of the Love Fellowship Worship Center.
I am grateful for this opportunity to pray with you before we get started. If there's ever been a time when we needed prayer, we sure do need it right now. Amen? So if we could have every head to bow, every eye closed. My prayer today is for two things. First of all, wisdom, and secondly, for unity. The Bible says in Matthew 5:9, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." Lord, you know that the violence has taken over our streets. People are afraid to be in their homes. Bullies are terrorizing our cities, our world, and our schools. And disease is running rampant in our community. We don't have all the answers, but Lord, we know that you are an all-wise and all-knowing God. And today we petition you, O God, to help us to become the people that you would have us to be, where we can truly be a nation that is not divided, but that is unified to bring peace and unity in our communities and around the world, oh God. We ask that you would look on all of our public officials, those who have charge over us. Lord, we ask that you would give them good, godly wisdom so that they can do the work that you have called them to do, setting aside any personal issues, personal vendettas, anything that would prohibit us from coming together. Let the aisles that separate us become a river that surround us, that brings us together in unity to go forward. Help us to understand that we are all a part of the human race, and we can treat each other with dignity and respect, that we honor those who have and those who have not, those in the cities and those in the suburbs, those who are in our United States and those who are around the world. Lord, look on every nation, every city, every county around the United States. Then, Lord, on today, we ask that you would look on our county leaders and their constituents and all of those who they come in contact with, Lord. Would you just allow them to work together for the good of all of our citizens? And bless this assembly here. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Hallelujah and amen.
Thank you, Pastor Cooper. Please welcome Dr. Deanna Bertnana, President of Monroe Community College.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Deanna Bertnana, President of Monroe Community College. Our college is honored to host tonight's State of the County Address. Welcome, Monroe County Executive Adam Bello, Monroe County Legislature President and MCC Trustee Sabrina Lamar, Majority Leader Steve Brew, Minority Leader Eversa Roman, and New York State Assembly members, the Honorable Harry Brunson, Joshua Jensen, and Jen Lunsford, Chris Zeltman, representing Senator Schumer's office, Supervisor of the Town of Brighton, Bill Maley, and SUNY Trustee Bob Duffy, MCC Board of Trustees Chair Alan Williams, and MCC trustee Danielle Lyman-Torres. Distinguished guests, thank you all for your presence here this evening. As our generous local sponsor, Monroe County has been MCC's strongest partner since our inception in 1961. In the span of 60 years, the college has grown from annually serving fewer than 1,000 to more than 23,000 students. Visible examples of the county's long-standing investment in higher education appear in the success of our graduates and throughout our 4 MCC sites located in Brighton, downtown Rochester, and Chili, as well as online via our virtual campus. In fact, this theater is a testament to the county's commitment in providing access to public higher education and training to our community. Imagine the thousands of productions, concerts, pinning ceremonies, police officer graduations, local community events, and celebrations that have taken place in our theater, made possible by county taxpayers. MCC's Brighton and downtown campus are home to 5 LEED certified buildings, an example of a successful, forward-thinking collaboration between MCC and Monroe County. LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, an internationally known rating system for sustainable and environmentally sound buildings. Moreover, our Economic and Workforce Development Center and the Public Safety Training Facility, both nationally recognized, as well as our Applied Technology Center, benefit from vital county support in ensuring the next generation of skilled workers in high-demand fields and a more robust employment pipeline. Monroe Community College is ranked the 4th top associate degree and certificate producers among our state's 30 community colleges. The return on Monroe County's support for MCC is reflected in the fact that nearly 90% of our graduates from the college's career programs find meaningful employment and stay in our region, becoming contributing citizens. Other MCC graduates stay within the area and continue their education at one of Rochester's many area colleges, becoming engaged community members. And an increasing number take the skills they learn at MCC and begin or expand businesses within Monroe County, joining the innovative economy for which this region is so rightfully known. Since my first day at MCC in May of 2021, it has been clear that Monroe County's investment in access to high quality, higher education, in part of a more broader, larger picture, one shaped by an abiding commitment to the quality of life and economic prosperity of all residents of our community. The vision behind this commitment comes from clear and consistent leadership. Since taking office in January 2020, Monroe County Executive Adam Bello has demonstrated that leadership. Throughout the pandemic, County Executive Bello focused on bringing together entities from across the county to work together to keep our community safe and healthy. He supported small businesses with grants and loans, opened new pathways for residents to pursue career opportunities, and demonstrated his commitment to investing in the public infrastructure that makes Monroe County a great place to live. Now, he is focused on building an equitable, sustainable future for this great community. This evening, I am honored to introduce him. Please welcome Monroe County Executive Adam Bello.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for joining me at tonight's State of the County Address. Thank you, Pastor James Cooper of Love Fellowship Center, for your moving invocation. And thank you, Monroe Community College President Dr. Deanna Bertnana, for hosting us this evening and for your gracious introduction. Dr. Bertnana is MCC's 6th college president. Her first-year anniversary was just days ago, and she's doing an amazing job. Dr. Bertnana, we are so excited to welcome you from Minnesota. So we know our winters aren't going to really scare you away. We'll let you stay. But your background in diversity, equity, inclusion, educational access, and attainment, and workforce development, this is the exact skill set that we need in Monroe County today. Over its long history, MCC has continually evolved, from updates to program offerings and adapting facilities to providing access through online and remote learning. MCC is working tirelessly to best meet the needs of our community, and I look forward to the innovations that I know are coming under Dr. Bertnana's leadership. We selected Monroe Community College as the backdrop for tonight's speech because of what it represents. MCC is a step forward for all who attend, whether they're seeking certification as skilled technicians, tradespeople, or nurses, or if they enroll later in life seeking to change in career. Others start on a path towards advanced professional degrees. People like my wife, who as of last year is now Dr. Megan Bello. Dr. Bello started right here on this campus and then went on to earn a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and is now a doctor of education. Megan's story is just one of thousands of dreams that are made true here at MCC. The first step in her journey that's culminated with her serving as a school principal. Dr. Bello, you are an inspiration to all of us. Thank you. So tonight we look to the future, a re-envisioned future that lifts every resident in every corner of Monroe County and makes Monroe County a destination for entrepreneurs, for businesses, ensures equitable opportunities for our residents, and positions Monroe County as the best place to live, work, and raise a family. We achieve this future together. Let me acknowledge and thank our federal, state, and local partners who make this future a reality. Congressman Joe Morelli, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who are investing millions of dollars in our community. I want to thank you for your fierce advocacy on behalf of our county. Thank you, Governor Kathy Hochul and our state delegation, Senator Samra Brook, Jeremy Cooney, Pamela Helming, Patrick Gallivan, and Edward Rath. Assembly members Harry Bronson, Damon Meeks, Sarah Clark, Jennifer Lunsford, Marjorie Burns, Joshua Jensen, and Stephen Hawley. And to my partners in county government, Sheriff Todd Baxter, County Clerk Jamie Romeo, District Attorney Sandra Dorley, President Sabrina Lamar, Majority Leader Steve Brew, Minority Leader Yaversha Roman, and the entire Monroe County Legislature. And my local government partners, beginning with Rochester Mayor Malik Evans, our town and village officials and governments who are here tonight, and our superintendents of schools, thank you for your commitment to our community. There are 5 flags behind me. That of the United States of America, the New York State, Monroe County, MCC, and Ukraine. We watch with horror the atrocities that Russia perpetrates daily on Ukraine. We see the bravery and tenacity of the Ukrainian resistance. We here are home to one of the largest Ukrainian American populations in the entire country. And tonight we stand in solidarity with our local Ukrainian community and those abroad. Join me in thanking our ensemble of Ukrainian American singers from Monroe County. I'd also like to thank and recognize guests from the Ukrainian community. With us tonight, we have representatives from Rock Maidan, the Ukrainian Cultural Center of Rochester, and St. Joseph's Ukrainian Catholic Church. I'd ask you to please stand and be recognized. Many members of our local Ukrainian community have lost loved ones and have friends and family that are in danger. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. A sincere thank you to our Monroe County and community who rally to support the people of Ukraine. Collectively, we sent 5 ambulances donated by local companies, turnout gear donated by local fire departments, ballistic vests from our sheriff's office, and truckloads of personal hygiene supplies from everyday citizens. And we will continue our support, especially as it relates to incoming refugees who seek shelter here in Monroe County. Our home is your home. And finally, I want to thank my team. Deputy County Executive Jeff McCann, Deputy County Executive for Human Services Corinda Crosdale, and all of our department heads and leadership teams, and the nearly 4,000 employees who keep our water pure, our traffic lights in sync, parks and zoos beautiful, our finances solvent, and we communicate the public's business with transparency. Monroe County is fortunate to have each and every one of you. Looking back over the last year, I'm proud of what we've accomplished. Bring Monroe back. Our county's recovery agenda is in full swing. Businesses are bouncing back, theaters are open, and there are construction projects all over the county. And like the MCC graduates who will walk the stage in just a few weeks, ours too is a future filled with opportunity. Our credit rating is the best it has been this century. The city and county have a true partnership. Mayor Evans and I, we have been on the phone with each other, I think, every day since he took office. And I want to once again thank you, Mayor Evans, for your continued and steady friendship, your steady leadership. We have much to do together, and I'm looking forward to that. Let's give him a round of applause. We are creating a plan to invest $144 million in federal American Rescue Plan funds, thanks to Congressman Morelli, Senators Schumer, and Gillibrand. Our eyes are on the future. It's time to re-envision Monroe. Our Bring Monroe Back and Plan Forward efforts included gathering public input and engaging with community discussions with thousands of participants. We asked tough questions. Do opportunity and prosperity exist? What makes our community strong? Will our children want to live here? How do we ensure access to opportunity and resources for everyone? The responses were consistent. Expectations are high, and the opportunities are almost endless. A future filled with promising opportunities, but now we need to focus on making those opportunities actionable. The feedback we received was clear. Monroe County residents want a community that has opportunity, prosperity, support, and an unmatched quality of life for all of its residents, no matter the zip code they live in, the color of their skin, who they love, their gender, religion, or political philosophy. Now we take what we've learned from Bring Monroe Back, and we re-envision Monroe as the community we want it to be. It's time to focus, and it's time to finish. We re-envision Monroe by focusing on 4 areas: our future supported by 4 pillars: economic and workforce development, public safety, public health and wellness, and infrastructure. In responding to the pandemic, we learned nothing is impossible if you unite the community and singularly focus on solving the problem. COVID brought together entities that operated on individualized paths. Healthcare systems, community-based organizations, government, businesses, social services, they all stopped doing business as usual and worked together to respond to the crisis. We need to continue to use that ingenuity and cooperation. In leading our COVID effort, the county acted as that great convener, a hub that facilitated a coordinated community response, connecting the systems that too often work in isolation and rethinking how we can work together. And if we can do this, we can find solutions, we can create the future we want to, and we will re-envision Monroe. Economic and workforce development tops that agenda. That means supporting small and emerging businesses and building on lessons we learned during the pandemic. Our arts community was hit hard by COVID. We helped launch Jumpstarts from the stage of Blackfriars Theater, which hadn't opened its doors in 14 months. In total, Jumpstarts funded 64 organizations, pumping close to $1 million into the creative economy, making a real difference to arts institutions, including Blackfriars.
So during the pandemic, all the arts organizations, community organizations were all hit really hard. For us specifically, and all of our sister and brother theater companies and artistic companies, we wound up being shut down. There wasn't anything that we could do to have people in the building. We were furloughed for a number of months. We came back part-time. It was a big impact not only on the community of our patrons, but on the community of our artists. The financial implications of the pandemic were tough for everyone. And we had no earned income. There was absolutely no way to provide any kind of content that could create any earned income, which is 50–60% of our business.
Another industry negatively impacted, and one that was often ineligible for relief funds, is the arts sector. But all that changes today in Monroe County.
Today is a big day for the arts and cultural community. Monroe County announced it's allocating up to $2 million from the CARES Act.
And we became aware of the Jumpstarts program, and what was really special about it was that the funding that we received from other areas was specific to payroll or rent or utilities, and the Jumpstarts funding allowed us to put it directly towards the work we do. So Monroe County had our back to say, okay, this is for you to do the work you need to do. So we could apply it to the productions. We could apply it to the artistry and the creative endeavors of what we do day to day. And the Jumpstarts program went right to the heart of what we do as artists, and it helped us get right back on our feet right away. I think everyone was hungry for the arts. They were hungry to get out of their home. They were excited to just see the people that they loved, to be in a space that they loved, and to be out of their house doing things that fed them, that made them, ignited their imagination, ignited their passion. So they're coming back with that joy and that love and that hope that it'll keep moving forward.
Our arts organizations were grateful for emergency relief, but needed continued operational support and equitable funding. Next month, we will release an application that allocates an additional $500,000 to qualifying small and mid-sized arts organizations. Equity drives our decisions, and we are fighting to make sure that nobody is left out. We continue to work with the City of Rochester to implement recommendations from the Race Commission. We will work with a nationally recognized firm to establish a dashboard, and our own Urban League will lead efforts around implementation, holding us accountable and getting the work done. And we've already started. One of the significant recommendations from the Race Commission was support for MWBEs. For too long, minority and women-owned businesses operated at a disadvantage. Doors to opportunity were closed. Our new certification program for minority and women-owned business enterprises run by the county's Department of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion is a step towards that equity. It can take up to 2 years to obtain New York State MWBE certification. Monroe County can qualify MWBEs in as little as a month, eliminating barriers that exist in the bidding process. If we want others to be serious about utilizing MWBEs, we need to take the lead. And that's why, in partnership with the county legislature, we set goals for MWBE participation in professional and non-professional services. Economic development is fundamental to a prosperous future. When companies scan the global stage to invest, they need to know that Monroe County is competitive. Comida is a powerful economic engine for job creation. Whether it's clearing the way for new companies or supporting expansion efforts for existing companies, Comida plays a critical role. Since I took office, Comida-backed projects generated a record-breaking $2.2 billion in new investments in Monroe County and created and they've created or retained more than 7,000 jobs. Just this year, Comida helped Li-Cycle bring 277 new jobs to the former Kodak Park. Cooper Vision, 100 more jobs to Henrietta. Alliance Precision Plastics to expand on Lee Road. Tri-Tower Telecom to open a new site on Emerson Street. And American Fleet Management expand in Chili. Constellation Brands is moving its global headquarters from Ontario County to the heart of Monroe County, downtown Rochester, where it will be a cornerstone of the Aqueduct Reimagined initiative. As these jobs come into our community, we need to ensure people have the skills to fill them. Just last week, the Labor Department, it announced more than 11.5 million job openings nationally. It's an all-time high. I can't think of a company, there's not a single company in our community that's not hiring. We have more jobs than qualified candidates. So now is the time to invest in workforce development. The county must once again step into that role of convener, lead our community's workforce development efforts, and gather stakeholders to invest in a skilled workforce. Picture it like this. There's a divide. On one side, there are job creators. On the other side, we have job seekers. They can see each other, but there's no clear path between them. Re-envisioned job training is the bridge. It shortens the distance, removes barriers along the way, and it connects job seekers with job creators. It's building on the work we're already doing. We're holding job fairs and offering pop-up career services. We launched this year an apprenticeship pilot. On select county projects, contractors are now required to include apprentices for every trade on the project. And a third of those apprentices must represent minority or disadvantaged populations. Comida has a role to play here too. Chair Ann Burr and the board of directors are adapting to invest in the workforce that powers the businesses that they're bringing to our county. It's a simple solution. Comida invests to create more and better jobs while simultaneously investing in training a new highly skilled workforce to fill those jobs. And they're committing to it in a big way. Earlier this year, I worked with Comida to set aside $2.5 million to support workforce development. And tonight, we announced the first grant. Please join me in congratulating YAMTEP, the recipient of $400,000 for a pilot program that recruits, trains, and connects individuals with employment, moving our young people from poverty to prosperity. Job training gets people into jobs quickly, and when it's done right, it eliminates barriers like the lack of affordable quality daycare for working parents, the lack of transportation, or the need to bring home a paycheck while training for that new job. And we know how it works because we see it work with our Empower program. Empower is a partnership with MCC that trains students to be a certified nursing assistant, LPN, and registered nurse. Students receive an income, assistance with childcare and transportation, all while completing their program. During my budget address in November, I introduced Empower students Christina Brown and Troy Kinsey. Let's see where they are today.
Before I was in this program, I was working 4 jobs, plus, because I picked up odd gigs here and there. Now I'm working 2, because I am still a single mother and I still gotta put food on the table. But I have a different direction for where I want my mental focus to be.
I'm seeing it now and actually getting close to the end. I'm getting excited, I'm getting happy, so yeah, it's definitely helped personally, emotionally, and physically.
Now, I learned about the LPN program, which is the Licensed Practical Nurse program, and I'm like, oh wow, this is more. I want to further my education, I want to do more, and yeah, now I'm like, okay, there's an LP and an RN, all right, let's keep going.
I do want to go further. I do want to be a doctor, so it's like these little small details help you scope in your foundation to get to the point that you need to be to get to the doctor.
I am utilizing the child care option. It is difficult being able to find a babysitter while in school. I think this program is, they will guide you or they will guide you to the proper tools if you need any additional help somewhere.
It's going to help me financially, and it's going to help me complete my goal. So it's like, okay, yeah, this is definitely something for me. So I felt like it opened up a door that was, in my situation, closed at the time, that I felt was closed. So it just opened it up, and it was like a bright light, and I just walked through, and then I was here.
Honestly, I just want my son to continue to do what he's doing now. He's my biggest supporter. Like, anytime I need to study for something, he's like, Mommy, what are we learning? He's willing to learn with me. I just want him to be proud. I want him to know we're able to do this. No matter how difficult it gets, just keep pushing. You're able to be wherever you want to be, and no one needs to classify how you need to go about to do it. That's it. That's it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, both Troy and Christina are with us tonight, along with many of their Empower classmates. Let's recognize all their hard work and success. Stand up and be recognized. Last year, I had asked Governor Hochul to mobilize the National Guard to provide medical support at Monroe Community Hospital. Because here and across the country, there's a shortage of healthcare workers. Since its inception in 2020, Empower has enrolled more than 1,700 participants. That's how we close the gap in healthcare. We're growing job training efforts across industry, skilled trades, advanced manufacturing, and healthcare. Expanding on that, tonight, I am proposing to the county legislature the construction of the new MCC Applied Technology Education Center right here on this campus, with design work to begin this year. The ATEC is a $35 million project that moves critical technology programs from outdated facility on West Henrietta Road and houses them in a state-of-the-art facility, connecting them with the college's science, technology, and engineering and mathematics programs. The ATEC facility builds on the momentum of MCC's Forward Center, continuing our focus on training people for high-demand jobs that exist today. Skilled trades workers are in short supply. The economy needs them now, and companies are willing to pay good money for them. ATEC offers career paths, including automotive technician, precision tooling, heating, ventilation, air conditioning service technician, and mechanic. With the new solar lab, the ATEC will offer training in burgeoning fields like solar photovoltaic panel installer, solar energy installation manager, and service technician. The anticipated infrastructure investment made by government and private sector will require skilled workers to build our future. So let's have them trained already, and let's keep them here. We have a world-renowned university system, a talent pool that's second to none. But fewer than 35% of our four-year graduates stay here. Other communities, they're bidding for our best and brightest. So it's time we demonstrate that Monroe County provides college grads with the best opportunities for careers and a quality of life. That's why tonight I'm announcing the pilot launch of the county's Retain program. Retain provides a $2,000 bonus to graduates with a four-year degree in high-demand fields if they live and work in Monroe County for at least a year. The struggle to find and retain talent impacts county government too, just like the private sector. We are looking to hire in areas vital to our community: law enforcement, social workers, healthcare, those who keep us safe and healthy. Think about it. Who makes the traffic lights work in synchronicity so you're safe at intersections? County employees. If a family member struggles with addiction or mental health, who provides that help and service? County employees. Who maintains our beautiful parks, our lilacs, our trees, the golf courses, tennis courts, pickleball courts? It's county employees. County employees are key to our quality of life. We must invest in our workforce. Our vacancy rate is too high, which puts an unfair pressure on our other employees. In a recent interview, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said, "There are lots of job opportunities. Wages are moving fast at rates that we haven't seen in quite some time. It's a good time to be a worker looking for either a change jobs or get a wage increase in your current job." It's clear. If we don't invest in our workforce, they have options. It starts by working with our friends in labor. I am proud to say that for the first time in a long time, no union has been without a contract during my administration. Just this past year, we settled fair and on-time contracts with 5 of our bargaining units, and negotiations are underway with others. Vacancies, though, mean you're not paying for the salaries you budgeted for. That may be nice for the bottom line, but it's not sustainable. It's not fair to our workers, and if it impacts services, it's not fair to you, the public. We must compete for new employees and retain our current employees. I will soon submit legislation calling for an across-the-board 2% salary increase for all county employees and for current full-time employees and new hires outside of higher management. Will offer a $500 quarterly incentive up to a total of $3,000 starting July 1st. Monroe County is hiring, and we want you to join our team. If you call 911, you need an immediate response. If a child is in danger, we need a fully staffed CPS unit. If you're in danger, a traffic accident, a home invasion, you need law enforcement there now, not later. County employees, they keep us safe. They are a critical component of public safety, and that's the second pillar of our future. Public safety encompasses many things. It's law enforcement, prevention, education, rehabilitation. It's community violence reduction, safe neighborhoods, housing, and streets. Have you ever started a new job and come across the drawers of unmarked keys? They might fit a door, a filing cabinet, a padlock, but you don't know exactly where they go. They have a purpose, but you really can't use them until they're labeled and organized. That's our situation with public safety. We have all the keys. We just need to connect them. Monroe County can be that key ring, that convener. We cannot address public safety without first addressing the increase in violence across our community. The city of Rochester is experiencing record violence and homicides. Let me be clear. I don't want anyone in my county to live in fear of being in their own home. No family should live in fear to send their children to school or out to play. The scourge of violence, illegal guns, shootings, and homicides must end. Like my partner in government, who we are working hand in hand together, Mayor Evans and I are outraged. Our community deserves better. Our children deserve better. People want safe neighborhoods. Earlier today, I stood with Sheriff Baxter, Mayor Evans, and the Rochester Police Department to propose a 5-year, $8.5 million increased commitment to public safety and violent crime reduction. It starts today. We propose adding 11 sheriff's deputies, targeting gun trafficking and gun violence. That's increased support for investigations, for patrols, for tracing illegal gun networks. This summer, we're committing sheriff's details to support the Rochester Police Department and provide consistent reinforcements to their patrols in response to shootings. We're funding an ATV enforcement team combating illegal dirt bikes and ATVs on our streets. Successful violence reduction also includes rehabilitation. We're connecting law enforcement, clergy, and social workers to conduct supportive home visits for families after that gun arrest. We're funding the jail intervention services like the Ceasefire Initiative, targeting those violent offenders who are in custody and addressing gang and gun violence. We're supporting a reentry one-stop to support formerly incarcerated individuals as they re-enter to become productive members of our community and reduce those factors that lead to repeat violence. Supporting and funding law enforcement programs is one key to public safety. But law enforcement needs partners to keep our community safe. Public safety requires a multidimensional approach. It's putting every key on that ring. Reaching people before law enforcement intervention becomes necessary. I'm going to give you an example. Take, for example, the Civic Center parking garage. There, we learned even chronic problems can be addressed if you bring the right people together and rethink your approach. For more than 30 years, the garage became a de facto shelter for our homeless population. Public officials tried one-dimensional tactics to solve this issue, and they all failed. This winter, a decades-long problem reached a breaking point as assaults and threats of violence against garage patrons rose. Let me be clear. Homelessness is not a crime, but assault is. We were facing a compounded problem, ensuring the safety of downtown employees and visitors, while simultaneously ensuring the health and safety of the individuals who sought shelter in the garage. Two things were clear. First, the solution would not involve human beings continuing to sleep on a cold concrete floor without bathroom facilities, breathing in toxic exhaust and fumes. And second, making the garage safe for everyone required us to break down all those silos and start to work together. We installed infrastructure improvements, new lighting, video cameras, and secured entryways. We brought together the Rochester Police Department, the Sheriff's Office, emergency housing, veteran services, mental health professionals, substance abuse services, the county outreach staff who had existing relationships with those living in the garage. And it paid off. Today, no one is living in the parking garage, and 54 men and women who were sheltering there are now in housing, receiving the services and support they need. That example proves it can work. The hard work of our Department of Human Services resulted in remarkable breakthroughs with people like Johnny, who spent 30 years living in the garage and other public places. I want to thank Johnny for letting us share his story tonight.
This is where I first met Johnny. He was asleep on the sidewalk. I ran into him in that spot many, many times. We would see Johnny weekly for several years as part of our ongoing community outreach to outdoor locations. You know, he really was not quite trusting. It took a lot of years for him to gain that trust. You know, he really did not even think living inside was attainable. So it was really not a conversation that he wanted to have. He felt that he would be setting himself up for disappointment because that's all he's experienced in his life. There had been a lot of activity going on in the garage as far as safety went, you know, which is why we were increasing our efforts to the garage. And we said, today's the day, Johnny. I think it's time to come inside. And he didn't resist that day. He said, today's the day, and we said, yes, it is. And he said, okay. There was this permanent supportive housing program available right across the street in the downtown area. We were able to set him up with the items that he needed to feel safe in that apartment, and he has stayed there ever since. I continue to visit with him multiple times a week. I think it's very important for him to have the connection to me, because he's known me for so many years now, to make sure that he continues to feel safe where he is and has his needs met to remain in the apartment. His birthday was in January, and we were able to have a birthday party for him at the end of January, and I think that might be the first birthday party he's ever had. It was amazing. Some of my colleagues here at Department of Human Services joined me. We brought cake, presents, sang happy birthday. He joined in with singing to himself, clapped for himself, and had really probably one of the best days he's ever had. Yay!
Becky Migliorati, Community Homeless Coordinator for Monroe County, continues to work with Johnny today. That connection between public safety and housing cannot be overstated. When individuals and families are thrown into chaos by losing their homes, our neighborhoods are destabilized and our community suffers. Throughout the pandemic, Monroe County and the City of Rochester offered an innovative approach to emergency rental assistance. We simplified pre-screening. We enlisted community-based organizations to walk people through the process. And we were recognized as one of the handful of rental subsidy success stories across the United States. All told, we kept 7,000 individuals and families in their homes, Children didn't have to leave their neighborhood and friends behind. Families could focus on other needs without worrying about losing the roof over their head. And it wasn't just renters that benefited. Of the $34 million in rental support, a significant amount of that went to small businesses, mom and pop property owners that rely on rental income to support their own families, money that's then reinvested in our local economy. Public safety also goes hand in hand with public health. That's the third pillar. Entering our third year of the pandemic, we are tired of COVID. Yep. Yep. But it's increasingly clear we're going to have to learn to live with it, Dr. Mendoza. By now, we all know how to protect ourselves and the people that we love. But in case you need a reminder, we're now in the common sense phase of controlling COVID. But it's still important to test, get vaccinated and boosted, and protect yourself and your family. Please, get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. Please get vaccinated. If you're ready for a booster, now is the time. Get your booster. Wear a mask. Wear a quality, tight-fitting mask. Vax, boost, mask. Vax, boost, and mask. Vax, boost, mask. Vax, boost, mask. Vax, boost, mask. Vax, boost, mask. Vax, 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 boost, 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 mask. Mask, vax, boost, and mask. I don't think I could have said it better myself, right? There you go. But in all seriousness, COVID did change our community, how we celebrate family milestones, gather with friends, attend school, and religious services. It also changed how local government functions. We had to learn on the fly and shift how we respond to critical issues. We can't face such a devastating crisis without learning from it and adapting how we govern. We will harness our new relationships, the partnerships, and problem-solving skills to continue as that convener on issues as wide-ranging as workforce development, public safety, and now our future healthcare needs. For example, to support our vaccination efforts, the Department of Public Health acquired an outreach van, taking the life-saving vaccine and boosters into the community. That van is now being repurposed to expand outreach efforts and bring critical care directly into our neighborhoods.
Well, the van behind us has seen a lot of use throughout the COVID pandemic. We've been visiting many locations in the county, giving vaccines, doing testing, providing education to the public. But now that the COVID pandemic is to some degree behind us, we're going to be shifting gears and using this van for other purposes.
This is climate controlled, it's warm. There's a bathroom, there's an exam room, and we can bring patients in, have confidential interviews. We can take samples and do free testing of various things. The interaction is different than in some of our mass services areas, like when we were doing mass vaccination, mass testing, you kind of go through an assembly line. Here we actually get to talk to people and hear what's important to them. When I have someone tell me that they've got questions about COVID, but they don't look well, sometimes we can get into, well, what's going on? Well, they haven't taken their insulin in about a month because they don't know how to get it. And we can problem solve that kind of stuff. That won't happen in a mass service deployment. It's going to be one resident at a time.
It just makes more sense for us to get out of the walls of our office and meet people where they are, whether it's school districts, whether it's businesses, whether it's churches. We look forward to building on that partnership by taking this van to those locations to really connect the dots between what we had done during COVID and what we hope to do after COVID.
For all of our public health nurses, this is very exciting. This is why we came into public health, is to connect with the communities that may not have access to services. Yeah.
Kathy Hill-Tunin, Dr. Mendoza, I am so proud of all of the work that you've been able to accomplish and for your partnership throughout this pandemic. Thank you both. Your leadership has saved countless lives. Thank you. For so long, COVID dominated the public health discussion, but our community continues to battle a parallel crisis, the opioid epidemic. In 2021, there were at least 130 fatal overdoses in Monroe County. Each of these deaths, a tragedy. Each victim, someone's friend, child, brother or sister, father or mother. The outcomes for those battling addictions have been getting worse. And there isn't just one factor. The pandemic impacted people's support networks and treatment. Isolation exacerbated an already difficult mental health concerns. And street drugs have been cut with deadly fentanyl. This is a community-wide crisis and needs a community-wide coordinated response. Every day, dedicated people work tirelessly in opioid use prevention, in law enforcement, in treatment and recovery. But as we too often see, working alone, again in those silos, can only impact a small piece of what's a larger problem. What's missing is a coordination of individuals and organizations, allowing their work to augment that of others, rather than duplicating or working in isolation. We need to share data and resources that support collaboration and coordination, and ultimately better outcomes. As the convener, the county can and will play that role. Monroe County will receive $30 million in settlement funds over the next 18 years, funds secured by New York State Attorney General Letitia James. And let's say thank you to the Attorney General. We are placing those settlement funds in a secure trust to ensure that every dollar we receive is spent directly on addiction prevention, treatment, enforcement, and recovery. These funds are our lifeline in combating the opioid crisis. In the weeks ahead, I will be proposing a new structure for our community response to the opioid and fentanyl crisis that will begin to utilize these opioid settlement funds. We will create a new command center to coordinate community efforts following an emergency incident command model. We need to stop thinking about programs. We have to look at the system. We must give this crisis the attention it demands, and we will. This command center will coordinate the spending of opioid settlement dollars and leverage the work of everyone participating in the field. It will convene resources like the county's impact and fit teams, the healthcare systems, law enforcement, and the grassroots community organizations that are fighting this battle in every corner of Monroe County. We will align efforts and start to change the direction of this crisis. It's the county's responsibility and job to protect the health and well-being of all of our residents, and that includes those who protected us, our veteran community. Our veterans service agency, and I'm so incredibly proud of this team, continues to focus on the health of our veterans every day. The engagement with Tribe Ecotherapy is showing promising results. Overwhelming qualitative evidence shows this program is changing lives for the better and helping treat PTSD symptoms. Each year, the Veteran Service Agency helps veterans navigate daunting bureaucracy to secure the health care and financial benefits that they've earned. We added a position to our VSA team, and we're seeing its impact already. Just last year, we had a record-breaking year. Our VSA brought in almost $6 million owed to our local veterans, and this year, And this year, we're on track to beat that. The federal government is expanding the list of illnesses that qualify veterans for disability compensation benefits. And the VSA is already working to get this information out to the community and help our veterans determine if they're eligible for these new benefits. This year, in partnership with the City of Rochester and Mayor Evans, we are saying thank you to our veterans community by hosting a Veterans Day Parade. And I hope you'll all come out and join us. Thank you, Nick, for the work that you and your team do. It's changing lives. Some of the big changes we want to make require an investment, not in programs and services, but rather community infrastructure. That's our fourth and final pillar. Our community infrastructure is a blueprint to past priorities, and how we rebuild and improve shows the future that we envision. Ours is a future that focuses on safety, sustainability, equity, and livability. In the morning hours of January 28th, a major bridge collapsed in the city of Pittsburgh. Luckily, no one was injured, but it highlighted the need to invest in our aging roads and bridges. This year, the state will complete a $172.8 million project at 390, 490, and Lyle Avenue, which includes newly surfaced roads, 7 new bridges, and a new exit ramp. Better roads are also safer roads, and the county has a responsibility to maintain ours too. With state support, we're able to invest $11 million to repair and repave county roads, bridges, and culverts. Roads must be safe, though, whether you're in or out of that car. Our Department of Transportation recently launched a pedestrian action plan. We're installing high visibility signs and flashing beacons at our crosswalks. Infrastructure is also about sustainability and environmental stewardship. As people seek more sustainable forms of transportation, we have to be ready. That's why we're partnering with the Genesee Transportation Council to launch our Active Transportation Plan, which includes public input sessions where you can share your ideas about expanding options for walking, public transit, and biking. Our Climate Action Plan Advisory Committee is finalizing their draft plan that will serve as a framework for measuring, planning, and reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. To support that effort, we've installed new electric vehicle charging stations at county facilities. To keep our waterways safer and cleaner, we invested $58 million to improve the Frankie Van Laer wastewater recovery facility. Infrastructure is about equity, though. Nearly 1/5 of our city households and 1/3 of our rural households do not have access to high-speed internet. In 2022, access to information is just as critical as access to transportation. I convened the Monroe County Advisory Task Force on Broadband, asking governmental and community leaders to assess internet services in low-income and rural areas of Monroe County. How can we become a high-tech hub if our students, if our families can't access high-speed internet? To truly be an innovation hub, Monroe County must bridge the digital divide. This month, we're launching a countywide survey identifying the barriers and locations that prevent access to affordable, high-speed internet. And it's not just our residents that are going to benefit. Affordable, high-speed internet will attract new businesses to our region. It's an asset to entrepreneurs and established businesses, and it's a driver of that economic growth. Infrastructure is also about livability and vibrancy, like our beautiful park system. This year, we celebrated Frederick Law Olmsted's 200th birthday. Olmsted, the world-renowned landscape architect who designed Central Park, he also designed 4 parks in Rochester: Genesee Valley, Seneca, Maplewood, and Highland. To honor his birthday, we just announced the rebuilding of the historic Children's Pavilion in Highland Park. Last year, we launched our Go Outside Monroe Parks Revitalization Initiative. It was a $7.5 million investments and repairs in all 22 of our county parks. But still, many of our parks need upgrades and enhancements. Our park system is second to none. We deserve nice things here. So let's make our parks the public treasures they were meant to be, with a proposed investment of nearly $10 million over and above last year's repairs and improvements. These investments include a synthetic ice rink for the winter and spray park for the summer at Ontario Beach Park, a needed feature, especially for those days when the water quality prevents us from swimming. We're making major improvements to our golf courses, including better drainage, expanded cart paths, and tee box improvements. We're adding a new playground at Potter Mills Park, renovating Canatota Lodge in Webster Park. We're adding pickleball courts at Black Creek and Mendon Ponds Park, and an accessible kayak and canoe launch at Churchville Park. Work continues on Sutter's Marina on Irondequoit Bay to ensure that public resource can withstand floodwaters from Lake Ontario. And we hope to have that open later this year. At the Frederick Douglass Greater Rochester International Airport, we've seen tremendous growth in offerings. Frontier Airlines arrived with nonstop service to Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Tampa, and Denver. Southwest begins nonstop service to Chicago next month. Spirit Airlines will begin flying out of Rochester within the year, providing nonstop service to Orlando and Myrtle Beach. We are one of the very few airports in this state to add not one, but 2 new airlines since the start of this pandemic. Soon, we will see investments in airport infrastructure. $5.2 million in federal funds will replace worn-out jet bridges, rebuild portions of our general aviation ramp, upgrade the fire alarm system, and add efficient LED lighting to the commercial airline ramp. And when we talk about vibrancy and livability, we have to mention Frontier Field and the Seneca Park Zoo. I am happy to say that the Rochester Red Wings, they're not going anywhere. We are on track to complete $15 million in upgrades so Frontier Field meets Major League Baseball guidelines. Just a couple weeks ago, I joined the Red Wings, my colleagues in the Monroe County Legislature, and members of the New York State delegation to announce another $11 million to make sure our stadium provides our fans with the best, most comfortable experience. And I am grateful. And I am grateful to have had the support of Governor Kathy Hochul, Senators Brook and Cooney, and Assembly Members Bronson, Meeks, Clarkson, Lunsford, who secured an investment of $10 million in that project. Thank you. Our zoo is one of the most important family attractions Monroe County offers. And we just welcomed the latest star of the Seneca Park Zoo, our Maasai giraffe, who is thriving, and he's thriving under the care and attention provided by our zoo team. Tonight, for the first time, we're sharing a new video of our baby giraffe. So here's our little guy meeting his dad, Parker, as his mother, Iggy, watches on for the first time. And here comes his mother, so the whole family is reunited for the first time. How cool is that? I know you're anxious to meet him, so am I. It's coming, it's coming. I love this zoo. I know all of you do as well. So it's time. It's time to take the zoo to the next level, to reach its true potential, because our residents and the zoo's residents deserve to have a world-class zoo. Which brings me to my last and biggest announcement. I have been waiting to tell you this for weeks. With a commitment of $42.5 million from Governor Hochul in New York State and our delegation, I am proposing a significant investment today totaling $121 million into the Seneca Park Zoo. And here is your first look. Our Trailside Cafe will be opening in the coming weeks, and design work starts later this year on a new front entry complex and conference center. We are going to build the largest indoor tropics complex of its kind in the United States of America. We're adding new species and new habitats. Picture it, a cold winter day. It's Rochester. That's not that hard to do. You pack up the kids, you head to the zoo. It's not a typical winter destination. But this upgrade will include an indoor rainforest. We'll have indoor and outdoor habitats for lemurs, orangutans, and unique species we haven't seen before, like the island flying fox, bearcats, Chinese alligators, clouded leopards, and Komodo dragons. This plan will also add a 220,000-gallon aquarium to be among the top aquariums in the country that will serve at least 2 species of sharks. That's 220,000 gallons. My friends, that's 35,000 cubic feet of aquarium, with enough water to fill 20 in-ground swimming pools. The improvements will not only make it a world-class zoo to visit and enjoy, it will be a world-class habitat for our animals too. The health and well-being of our zoo animals is fundamental to both the county and our partners at the Seneca Park Zoo Society. Last year, I pledged that we would bring Monroe back together, and we are doing just that. At the height of the pandemic, our unemployment rate was a staggering 17%. Today, we're at 3.9%, well below the state rate of 4.7%. We continue to add jobs, and we continue to train our workforce. We have the lowest tax rate this county has seen in 20 years, and we have the highest credit rating. We are well into our recovery. We are making those critical investments in our 4 focus areas, our 4 pillars: economic and workforce development, public safety, public health and wellness, and infrastructure. This is a pivotal moment for Monroe County. Let's re-envision Monroe, a better, more fair, more equitable, healthier, safer, and more prosperous community. As we celebrate our county's bicentennial, this is the time to plan for our future and to make the next 200 years even better than the last. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to tell you tonight that the state of Monroe County is strong. We have unlimited possibilities before us, and I know that by working together, we can meet every challenge. When anyone asks that hard question, whether our children will want to live here, whether our children can succeed here, the answer will be a resounding yes. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.